I would encourage my gay fans to be fighters.
It's okay to change your mind.
I've been dreaming for this moment for so long.
Be boys. Amen. Be boys. It's okay. No matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this.
Nicki Minaj breaking down after Barbz quietly started backing away from her after that Trump meeting was not what I thought we would be unpacking in 2025, y'all. Like, at all. This feels like it might actually be the moment her legacy starts cracking for real. This isn't a rumor, a clip taken out of context, or Nicki being misunderstood. This is about Nicki walking into a Turning Point USA stage, smiling and openly praising Donald Trump and JD Vance, telling a right-wing crowd that they made her proud to be an American. And the Barbz, they froze. Because this was Nicki standing in a political space that a huge part of her own fan base sees as openly hostile towards Black people, immigrants, and marginalized communities. And clapping. And y'all, you could literally feel the shift online in real time.
I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys.
Now, of course, Nicki showing up around conservative spaces didn't come completely out of nowhere, but the confidence, the timing, the way that she said it like it was normal, that's what pushed people over the edge. Because the same Barbz who defended her through everything, beefs, scandals, messy tweets, questionable collabs, all of it, suddenly went very, very quiet. Almost immediately, people started speaking up. Everybody was basically like, wow, you really went there. And Bishop Talbert Swan, he did not tiptoe around it at all. He straight up called the whole thing hypocritical, and truth be told, a lot of fans were nodding along because this is the part people don't forget. Nicki was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and she's talked before about being undocumented as a kid. She literally can't vote in US elections. So watching her praise politicians whose policies have hurt Black communities, immigrants, and working class families, that hit different.
Be boys, it's okay. Be boys. There's nothing wrong with being a boy. How about that?
Amen.
How powerful is that? How profound is that?
Basically, Swan said what a lot of people were already thinking but didn't know how to say out loud. Nicki's fame, her money, her global status, all of that protects her in a way that regular people will never have. ICE isn't gonna knock on her door. ICE isn't tearing her family apart. ICE isn't treating her like she's disposable. So when she raps praise for politicians who have been accused of rolling back civil rights, erasing Black history, and pushing mass deportations in the name of patriotism, that doesn't come off brave at all. It comes off as out of touch. However, things got even messier when an old clip resurfaced of Charlie Kirk openly criticizing Nicki Minaj. In the clip, he flat out calls her a bad role model for Black girls and accuses artists like her of holding Black culture captive. And people online were like, wait, this is the space you felt comfortable standing in? Because the irony is loud.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on, I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old Black girls. I don't think that songs that are talking about like glorifying wet female genitalia is exactly, I don't know which one wrote that song. Which one was it?
I think it was Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, that's right.
Was roughly familiar with Nicki Minaj. Not exactly someone who I would consider is living a moral life, just kind of looking at some pictures of her.
The same movement cheering Nicki right now is the same one that trashed her, dismissed her influence, and used Black culture when it benefited them, while actively opposing protections for Black people. Then, Raheem Shabazz jumped in. He brought up the fact that Nicki is Trinidadian, not a Black American, and said that the difference actually matters, not as a drag, not as disrespect, just for context. Basically, he was saying that this isn't just one random moment either. He argued that there's been a pattern where Nicki seems kind of dismissive when it comes to Black American struggles, and showing up alongside Charlie Kirk's widow at what he described as a very thinly veiled MAGA rally wasn't neutral at all. Like, that wasn't just attendance, that was alignment. And look, when Black Americans are already under cultural and political attack, silence alone is a problem. But getting cozy with the same people pushing that harm, yeah, people around weren't calling you that neutral anymore. That's why the word collaboration started flying around, and once it did, it spread fast.
So, okay. that's like the most. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay.
And guys, this is when political strategist Mike Nellis jumped in and basically said what everyone was already whispering but hadn't said out loud yet. The timing is interesting because Nicki is reportedly dealing with the possible loss of a $20 million mansion. Her husband needs a pardon, and now suddenly she's found this conservative voice? Be honest, people notice the pattern immediately. Celebrities going anti-woke right when they need protection, sympathy, leverage, or a whole new audience to fall back on.
Yeah, so Nicki Minaj is being reported right now that Nicki Minaj allegedly is in risk of losing her $20 million home in LA after not paying.
And that's when the Barbz really started turning. Not all of them, but enough. Comments started popping up everywhere. One said, maybe Nicki Minaj is trying to be sure not to be deported back to Trinidad and Tobago because she doesn't hold US citizenship. Another went even harder, like Snoop, Amber Rose, Lil Wayne, Nelly, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj. See a pattern yet? When people feed our community poisonous lyrics, understand that they care nothing about us. Nothing. Because suddenly this wasn't about just Nicki anymore. It was about a pattern, about Black and adjacent celebrities being welcomed into conservative spaces only when they can be used as shields.
My mother say, Rose, man, you playing to win tonight, man. You sharp as mosquitoes needle. What's going down? That's that crypto, see? They let a real crip up in the crypto ball. Ooh. Bang, bang.
And this is where people really started scratching their heads because this version of Nicki, this isn't even the Nicki fans remember. But as if praising Trump wasn't already enough to set the internet on fire, Nicki somehow made it worse. Because while sitting there at Turning Point, Nicki goes on to call JD Vance an assassin. And y'all, the room went silent.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin JD Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
Now, of course, some people tried to play it off as a harmless slip of the tongue, but you guys already know how the internet works. That word hit different, especially because there's already been speculation floating around online, not proven, just speculation about JD Vance's proximity to power circles tied to Charlie Kirk and his death. Again, before anyone jumps me, speculation. And then people immediately brought up that hug, the Turning Point event where JD Vance and Erica Kirk shared that moment that had people rewinding their screens like, wait, hold on. The way she rubbed his hair, the way it lingered, that didn't read as just friends. There was more there, a whole lot more. So honestly, now it makes sense why Erica was the only one who jumped in the second things got awkward.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
At this point, the question online isn't even did Nicki mess up? It's how many times can she keep doing this before it actually sticks? Because fan loyalty can survive a lot. It can survive controversy, it can survive beefs, it can even survive messy moments that should have ended careers. But when fans start feeling politically abandoned, yeah, that usually doesn't end cute.